Amazon, Google, or Power BI. Here is Salesforce Einstein, Analytics, Tableau, but actually Tableau was bought by Salesforce. So right now Salesforce is the same like Tableau. And then we have HANA on SAP. So look at this. You can start learning extremely fast any content, okay? And and this is great. For instance, um, I would like to create a machine learning to predict the energy consumption, the, the energy consumption in the 50 states based on multiple uh, independent variables such as uh, unemployment rate and unemployment rates. What else? House constructions and what else? And permissions for construction, new buildings, and population. And I need to create the supervised model using Python with Apache Spark. Look at this. Start providing basics about this. And is recommending to use, for instance, linear regression or decision trees or random forest or gradient boosting trees. And then it's telling, hey, you can evaluate the performance of your machine learning using the mean square error or the mean absolute error. You can tune the model, okay? Please provide the Python code. So right now I'm asking about the Python code of that. Look at this. Right now it's coding.
Wow, Professor, this is fascinating.
Yes, and right now
this is
you can
cool.
make extremely fast.
Yeah.
Look at this. It's telling, hey, here I'm loading the data, I'm training the data, I'm doing the random split of my machine learning, 80% for training and 20% for testing. And look at this, the variables, unemployment rate, house, energy consumption is my target variable, what I would like to predict. And here is the evaluation, the mean absolute error, read the error. Look at this. Right now, basically, I have the code, I just need the data, and I have my machine learning done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And look at this, it's loading the libraries. Yeah. Do you see?
Wow.
Loading the library and the comments. Load the data into Spark data frame.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we can copy this, Control A, look at this. Here, copy code. And then I go to data community, data bricks. Go here, users, click here, create new notebook, and prediction model, energy consumption. Control V, look at this. What do I need here is just the data. That's it. But I can start splitting this, for instance, this part. Then I click here, and then I split this part, and then this. That's it. I have my notebook. Everything is on Python. If I have the data, how many minutes it took? Less than 3 minutes. I have the code ready. So you can generate business values to your superiors utilizing ChatGPT. Yeah. But for instance, what about if, let's say, please explain the basic of a machine learning model for a supervised linear regression model. So right now it's explaining what is a linear regression model. Supervised means that you have an outcome variable. So you have something to predict. So, and look at this, right now it's creating some samples. And that's interesting because it will create the coding for you. And you can start interacting with this chat GPT. So,
Professor, isn't this scary for people that do the programming actually? Because maybe in the future they won't have a job.
I don't think so, because, for instance, let me go back here. And if I don't understand what linear regression is doing,
I agree with you, Professor. Like, I have to know the model about the train and the fit and the testing data and the training data. If I don't know all this, it's no use
exactly.
doing this. I have to know the questions, right? To learn from ChatGPT. If I don't know the question, nothing will help me.
Exactly. Look at this. Here I have another one. Is PyTorch. Let me look for the one I was testing before. ChatGPT. ChatGPT. Please don't take a screenshot because here are my credentials. This is my personal credentials. So look at this. Instead of working here on this environment, I create my own chat GPT. So basically, and using my keys, this simple Python code, I can generate content. If you see here, I need an interesting story on growth marketing audience using machine learning. Oops. So, and then it generates this.
How does that do it, Professor? Like, how did it generate the story?
Because they are using this text Da Vinci, and text Da Vinci is the body of language, is the database. So they have multiple databases. For instance, they have Da Vinci 02, they have less content.
Okay.
Number 3, they have more content. And let me show you something here. Ngram. For instance, have you seen this before?
Oh.
Okay, this visualization has books since 1800 up to 2019. For instance, let's see what happened with random forest. random forest regression. If I click here, look at this. It's a terminology that actually starts by these years,
Okay.
by 2001. Okay, but what about the terminology of machine learning? Look at this. Start earlier.
So it's giving us the terminology when it was started, like a
Correct.
history, a timeline.
Yes, if you see
Okay.
here, these are the body of language. So
Okay.
basically, this program is utilizing natural language processing after they explore multiple contents. For instance, ChatGPT knows Wikipedia,
Okay.
every corner of Wikipedia, but knows papers. For instance, uh, Direct Science. Have you been in this website? Sorry, Science Direct. Have you been in this website?
Yes, Professor.
Yes.
I have.
Okay, so since you are at Rutgers School, you have access to this. And let's say I need a paper about business intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I click here, I will have multiple uh, responses.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say that I will take the first one. Okay, so business intelligence and analytics, BAI, using in the banking industry sector. Okay, so I can copy this part. Okay, and then I'm going to ChatGPT. Please provide a summary of the following content. Okay, but I need to remove some spaces here.
Okay.
I would like to show you the power of this. And then,
Useful. These kind
yes,
of articles are very hard to read, and they're long. They're full of jargons.
correct. That's why you can spend a lot of time here. Look at this, what I'm doing here right now. Okay, so I'm almost done. Hit enter. And right now it's processing. And look at this, it's generating a summary of this. It's not repeating anything, it's just generating a summary.
Yeah, that too in layman's language.
Yeah. Uh, please explain the previous output to a kid of 12 years old. Look at this. But we are going to simplify this. Look at this. Please, just give me one sentence. Summary in plain.
Wait to see that.
Okay, look at this, the summary. A study found that having good technology, support from management, look at this,
Wow.
and staff. We need support from management and staff, and a favorable environment are important factors in the successful adoption and usage of business intelligence and analytics tools in the banking sector. Beautiful summary.
Impressed.
Do you see here? So if I go to the document, they are complaining about that what are the factors that will provide a success implementation of BI. That's it.
Okay.
So do you see? So and basically, and then you can go through the document And then you can start making questions. For instance, here, let's say here, they are talking about SPSS. Somebody's familiar with SPSS?
Yes, I've heard about it.
Okay, SPSS, actually I have opened SPSS, but let me go to software and applications. Where are the applications? So here is not the application, Launchpad, here. SPSS. Okay, and yeah, this one is. I opening here. This is SPSS IBM. Usually you can buy the license for every year. One license is close to $200. And
Used it through school in one of our courses, marketing research. Yeah, but we used like Rutgers SPSS.
yes, you can use the license.
Yes.
So look at this. I'm opening this. So this is my database. But what is the interesting part? Look at this, all the models that you can run. You can conduct a meta-analysis, descriptive statistics, Bayesian statistics, compare means, all the tests. So general linear models. Linear models are the linear regression models, multiple linear regression models. We have generalized linear models where those has some assumptions about the covariance, assumptions about uh, the matrix of covariance. We have mixed models, correlations, regression analysis. If you see here for regression, you have binary logistic. So you have two items to predict. You predict the probability. What is the probability that I take bus or I take car? So basically, this is a logistic regression or binary regression because you have only two outputs. When you have multiple outputs, let's say more than two, is a multinomial logistic. So you have log linear models, similar to the regression, but you take the logarithm of your data. Classification analysis, you have the k-mean cluster. That is an unsupervised model. And the cluster analysis is unsupervised. The naive Bayes is supervised. This is interesting. The naive Bayes is coming from the rule of Bayes, and it's extremely easy. I will share with you the naive Bayes for classification. Actually, you can conduct in Excel. Um, Sounds difficult, but it's extremely easy. So look at all these models that SPSS. Yeah. And for forecasting, you can conduct here the ARIMA models or seasonal decomposition. For instance, the ARIMA model utilize the autoregressive part. The autoregressive means your following outcome depends on your previous outcomes. For instance, the performance of my sales depends on the performance of the sales of 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and that's the autoregressive part. And the moving average basically try to average your time series, shifting different time periods. So that's why you have the ARIMA model, autoregressive, integrate, moving average. So, and then you have, I haven't used this to be honest, but I'm more familiar with the forecasting, non-parametric tests. Here is ANCOVA. The ANCOVA is interesting because look at this. ANOVA try to identify if you have difference between the means. Let's say that you have an experiment and you launch a marketing campaign, okay? And during December 2022. But on November 2022, you didn't launch the marketing campaign. So how do I compare my revenue, the mean of the revenue during those months? So I utilize ANOVA, analysis of variance. But what about if there is a driver that includes this behavior?